Hey guys, and welcome into the Square, your weekly current and social affair podcast. This is our first ever podcast. You guys can find us on Spotify and on YouTube. Um, Being first generation immigrants living in the UK, we'll be exploring various topics from each of our unique viewpoints. I'm your host for today, Bidhan. I'm 22. I go to Nottingham Trent University, and I'm currently studying finance. If the rest of the hosts could also please introduce themselves.
Hello. I'm Kishore. I'm 24. It's the oldest in the group, for who you ever know. I study computer science at the University of Liverpool.
Hi, yeah, my name is Sanjo. I also go to the University of Liverpool and I study medicine.
Gang,
that's all.
gang.
Hello, my name is Bishop. I also study medicine, but I study at London at Imperial College.
All right.
Yeah, so basically at the start, I just wanted to do a little icebreaker, guys. So if you guys could please just say one fun fact about yourselves, and Kishore, if you start, and then we'll just go around.
All right. So all right. One fun fact here. Let me think. So, because clearly we haven't prepared in advance, haven't we? So one fun fact about myself is I'm doing this weight loss journey. So I'm doing a year of dieting and exercise, and then I've started from 115 kg, and then my goal is to get to 90 kg. I'm 4 months in now, so let's see how that goes in a year's time, innit?
Jeez, we can definitely see you.
Well, how you doing now
Huh?
then? How you
I'm
doing
on
now?
101, fam.
Yeah, we see.
Well, hopefully it'll be lower tomorrow because I weigh myself every week, innit? So every Monday, so hopefully I'll be double digits.
We'll be looking forward to
Double
hearing
digits soon.
your weight on the next week's episode,
Yeah,
Kishore. Yeah,
you can find that information on at BMK on Instagram, BMK underscore
You
videos.
know, whenever I go on a diet, I weigh myself butt naked. Yeah.
Do I,
You do that
nah,
as well,
not
do
butt
you?
naked.
One
I
on one,
boxes,
no.
boxes, not butt naked.
All right, go on, Bishop. Let's hear your fun fact.
So one fun fact about me is that I'm currently doing part of this project where I'm helping old people use technology to combat loneliness, and the demographic that I'm working with are the ex-grad guys,
Oh, that's sick.
and it's quite an interesting project where there's people of various abilities. Obviously, some of them don't even know English or how to read and write, and this possesses difficult challenges on working with people who can't read and write and try and teach them tech is very difficult over the internet. So I'm currently doing that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
how's it going?
Mad.
Yeah, it's going well. We're just starting the pilot phase where we're just working with around 10 people right now, and we're using Zoom to call the old people and sharing our screens to help them do different things. So last week we showed them how basic things for example searching for music videos on YouTube, which we take for
Yeah.
granted. For someone who's never used a tablet before, so we're doing it on the tablet. So we provided them with tablets, and so they're using that to learn how to navigate different social media apps and everything. And as I was saying, last week we taught them how to search Nepalese music videos on YouTube and Nepalese news. So they're really excited about that. So that's
Sick.
I mean, you had all the experience teaching your mum anyway, right? Like when the first smartphones came out, and having to teach your parents how to use the phone, and now teaching a bit an older generation. I think you've had all the experience in the world as well.
Slightly different because obviously my mom can read and write, but these people is very hard. Even for example, what we take for example in the Zoom app, a lot of them couldn't even join audio because they didn't know
Yeah.
where to click. So we had to call them up on the telephone and be like, oh yeah, click that, and then it was a lot more difficult than teaching someone who might know.
Is
how
that
to
the
do
charity work you were saying before you were doing? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just it's quite small, but they got funding from the National
Ah.
Lottery. It's called Codec
Wow.
UK. You're gonna check if other people want to check it out. So it's quite a small charity, and we're working with people around different boroughs around here, like Hillingdon, Ealing. But they got their funding from National Lottery, so we're providing tablets for hundreds
That's
of old
sick.
people. It's
Yeah.
quite a big project for a small charity.
Go on,
Mad.
go on, Sandro.
Oh man, mine's so different. So, you guys are bare serious, yeah. You got goals and stuff, bro. Like literally, mine's so different. All right, so basically, I've got my fun fact, yeah, is like basically I've got like a little teddy bear, right, that I've had since probably like 6 years old, and I literally brought it to uni as well, and I've had this. So I've basically had this for like what nearly like 17, 18 years now, isn't it? So I don't know why I can't let go of it, and this is what it is as well. It's Winnie the Pooh, man.
For the people
that Winnie the Pooh's seen some shit, bruv.
some shit. You cuddle your Winnie the Pooh at night then, Sanjog?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Are you
That's
the
sick
little
though.
spoon
You
or
got
the
you
big
got.
spoon? I said, are you the little spoon or
Sorry?
the big spoon?
He's the little spoon.
No, we change it up sometimes. Change it up.
That's sick,
No,
yeah.
but that's sick though. You kept it for so long. Like that's a part of your childhood, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, not
who
gonna lie,
gave
because
it to you?
when I moved into uni, I was about to like just ditch it and be like, nah, that'd be so
Barazan.
embarrassing. But then my mum was like, nah, just take it, like you might need
It's
it
like a Toy
sometimes.
Story. it's like from Toy Story.
It's actually a
Yeah.
funny story.
exactly. No, that's sick.
But yeah, no.
Was it-
I haven't really
Was
got
it a birthday
anything
present?
like that as well. Like from that when I was 6
Yeah, I haven't got any.
Nah,
Yeah.
I think I might have
I don't
something
know,
from
like,
like
it's
home
just
or
been
something,
there.
but not what I bought with me to uni.
Okay. Yeah, and then that's sick.
That's
though.
it.
I mean, I was gonna say my fun fact was it wasn't really fun at all. Like, it was just like, oh, I work as a bartender part time while studying at uni. But I work at this like this bar, and then they just do like mad cocktails. Like Bishop's been there before, and you guys might have like seen like the cocktails as well. Like they use like dry ice and like there's just smoke coming out and like shit like that. So yeah, that was gonna be my fun fact, but clearly it wasn't as fun as you guys, isn't it?
Nah, but it's still like interesting how you're managing to do like work on the side whilst
Yeah.
keeping up with your uni shit. Innit?
Yeah. And then the thing
good.
is like my friends, obviously, my friends that have a drinking problem, I can obviously help them out. And
Yeah, you can just
provide
coerce
them with
them,
the
innit?
cocktails, innit? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my fun
Get more
fact.
business in.
Yeah.
Get more business in. Alright, calm.
Yeah. So that was just a little section that we did like fun fact about ourselves, just so like you guys could like get to know us a little bit more. Now like if you guys like, I want to like introduce like ourselves, like so how we know each other as well. So like I'm gonna go first and explain how me and Bishop met. Like so we met like back in 1998. Like that's like me and Bishop are basically cousins. So like he's like my mum's like sister's son. So like we met like way back. Like he's my boy from knee high. Or like when I was crawling down, basically. That's how me and Bishop met. So, wait, how did you and Kishore meet, Sanjog?
Yeah, so like we said, like we both go to university at Liverpool. So basically, Kishore made this cringy post on Facebook, like
Yeah.
the freshers group. It would just be like, "Hi guys, my name's Kishore. Like I'm a computer scientist or some shit." Like he said something like that. Like I don't know what you said. I can't even remember, but I remember I said something like I replied to him, like DM'd him like straight up and be like, "Yo, it's a stupid question because obviously your surname's Nepal, but are you Nepalese and stuff like that?" And then he was like, yeah, bro, like, and obviously we linked up from then, and like, yeah, we've been together since, not together since then, but I mean, like, you know what I mean? We've been friends since then, and like, yeah,
I
we've
mean,
been
it
really
sounds
close.
like
yeah.
Kishore to make a cringy post like that anyway.
What do you mean sounds like me, bro? Shut up, bro. I just wanted to be included in it. I was the first year, bro. Allow me, fam.
Yeah.
Man just wanted to be included.
Nah, that's cool. And then
All
wait,
right.
so how did we all meet then, Bishop? Like, do you remember how we all met?
Yeah, so I think it was like back in end of first year for me. Was it the end of
Yeah,
first
yeah.
year for
I
all
think
of
so,
you guys?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to. So firstly, I'll start like how it started. So we have a mutual friend called Abian, who goes to UCL and he's a medic there. And then so I go to UCL Nepalese Society because Imperial doesn't have one. And then Abian suggested we go June Fest, and June Fest is like this Nepalese festival, music festival where they bring various artists from back from Nepal, and we're all excited about this guy called Bipul Chetri. I remember that Kishore had all the lyrics memorized and everything. So Abian knows Sanjog from his sixth form.
No, but we go back
Is
like,
that right?
no, like since like year 6, year 7.
So they live around the same place in like Reading or something. So Sandro came along, and obviously Kisro came along as well. And so we met in June Fest, and then so that night. So what happened? What
I'm
happened
not
that
too
night?
sure. I'm not too sure.
Why aren't you too sure? Though?
No, as in, I mean, I can't explain what happened. I mean, so, do you want me to say it, Bishop, or? No, so
Yeah,
we
go
just
for it.
went, like, to, like, June Fest together, and then, like, ended up watching a concert, all vibe with each other, and then we're like, oh, like, everyone's, like, amazing, like, I just felt like, oh, Kisho's my guy, you know? And then I found my long lost twin. We kind of look similar.
DMK.
If you look at each other, like if you guys go and check the YouTube.
Now we
video,
don't. What are you talking about, though?
No,
we
no,
don't
but
look
people
too.
say we look kind of similar. I mean, I look like I'm a better looking version of Kishore recently.
Okay.
I'm joking. And then yeah, so we all like chilled. Like we went back to Abiyan's flat afterwards, I think, and then we went out on a night out, like to this place in London. I'm not too sure. I think it was called like Roxy or something. And then yeah, just had an amazing night. Went back to Abiyan's after, chilled. Like there's just like there's like too many funny videos from that night as well. Maybe we'll release it to you guys eventually at
Nah.
one point.
I don't think Bishop will like that, you know.
Wait, do you
I
actually
have
have
videos
videos
from
from
that.
that?
No.
I have
Yeah, yeah.
videos, yeah.
So maybe it could be like behind the scenes, or like when we do like a little
If we get
yeah,
200
if you guys
likes,
want to
only.
see the videos from that night, make sure you guys go and smash the like button if you're watching it on YouTube, and then make sure you guys share it as well. But yeah, so and then like we just like ended up vibing there, and then like just became friends, I would say, and just kept in touch like
Yeah.
over the years. Like so this was like back in 2017, June 17. I don't know if he said it was in June or not. That's why the festival is called June Fest, by the way, because it's in June. But yeah, and then so that's how we all met. Just became friends, just like still like talking, and then I want to like get into how the podcast came about as well, Kishore. If you want to like go into that.
All right. So how it came about. So over like the Christmas holidays, like on 2020 Christmas holidays, I went back home in London, and then Bishop and Bidhan were in London as well. So they're like, "Oh, can we link up?" And then we're like, "Oh, calm, let's link up." And then so we were just chilling in the park, like, because we couldn't really do anything else in it because of lockdown and stuff. And then we were just chilling in the park, and then we just got to talking, and then we had a couple of drinks. I won't go into the details of what those drinks were, but let's just say we had a couple of drinks. And then we were just talking about what we could do. We were talking about my YouTube channel and how Bidhan wanted to like start his own YouTube channel as well, and how he had like, aspirations to start a YouTube channel. And then we got talking about podcasts and how like we all wanted to like make a podcast, and they were like, "Oh, can we make one together then? It'd be sick." And then we just got to like talking about what we could do, what the content of the podcast could be. And then like a few weeks prior to this, me and Sandra were talking about making a podcast together as well. And then I was like, "Oh fuck it, let me just call Sandra up as well because he might be interested as well." And then yeah, the rest is what you're seeing right now, innit? The culmination of it.
Yeah. Nah, sounds good. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, so he put it perfectly. So we just like we're chilling.
Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Kishore. I'm sorry. Yeah, so obviously, yeah.
You guys look
I
like
mean,
each other
I
as
forgot.
well.
I'll keep on forgetting we're triplets basically, guys. But yeah. So
It's like the Goldilocks bear situation going on here, fam.
yeah.
Who's in the middle though?
we can
Me,
get
innit?
Kishore in the middle. But yeah, so we thought to come up with this podcast, and then we were obviously talking about what topics we could we could talk on, and then being like from a finance background, I thought we could talk about stuff like cryptocurrencies and like Bitcoin, and like how the rise and like the potential fall of Bitcoin, and how in the future it might it might be like the .com crash maybe, or something along those lines. So we could look to talk on those topics, like because I'm studying finance right now, so I could like talk on that topic. And then the other guys, they have their own specialty as well, like Kishore, he studies computer science, and then you could talk about your topic, Kishore.
Yeah, so I wanted to we all have like different backgrounds, so I wanted to go into more like how the future of AI would look, how the future of AI and other like technologies from computer science and cryptocurrency as well, because like how cryptocurrency is made is like a big part of like the future of it, and I think we can like all have like and then I could bring my viewpoints, and then we could talk about those stuff, because it's all looking into the future and like how stuff that's going on now can be affected in the future. So that's what, yeah, I want to bring my like computer science knowledge background, and then Sanjog and Bishop, they will have a medical background, so or they could talk about theirs. So if they want to if you want to explain in more detail.
So one of the topics I'm looking forward to host in the future is about the COVID situation in India and Nepal, and how that compares to the COVID situation in more richer or like well-off countries, for example, UK and US. And the thing that I would like to explore is how does this impact COVID management by the government there in India? For example, some things that we take for privilege, for example, like being able to isolate, that might not be the case in India, where people might not have like savings, or like the government might not be able to provide furlough for people to be able to isolate. And you also have to consider testing. For example, in Nepal, testing cost 2,000 rupees, and this could be a family's like weekly income, and that's quite a lot compared to here, where testing is often free. So I would like to explore that aspect as well. And within this, one thing that would be interesting to see is also how the UK media, US media portrays these countries. And I think that there is often a misunderstanding about how far these countries have come, especially like India. And there was like a video on Instagram about Bill Gates talking about India doesn't have the capacity to make even vaccines, while India supplies like the 60% of world's vaccines. So this is another thing that I would like to talk about when I host.
Yeah. So yeah, similar with Bishop as well. I've got like a medical background as well. So obviously sticking more to the UK, want to talk about more about the NHS and just having the pandemic as well. There's a lot of questions of, should NHS staff get more pay, and about privatisation of the NHS as well. Is that going to be good for the future and stuff like that? And also, not just in specialities, I think we're also going to talk about a lot of social issues as well, I think, right? So we want to look at there's a lot of stuff with like racism in the past year that's gone up as well, and like stuff about, social taboos that, especially in like the background that we have, like an Asian background, how that differs to like the Western side, the Western views as well. So obviously we want to bring that into it. Obviously we've got our own specialities, but this is something that we all share as well. This is something that we all have similar views on, but also different opinions in different parts. So I think bringing the social aspects of it as well will be very interesting as well. And I want to see what everyone's views in that as well.
And sorry, I just wanted to interject. Like I don't think we all mentioned that we're all like Nepalese, and we were born in Nepal, and then all of us came to the UK at a very early age. So that's what we mean when we have like all the same background, because all of us are like first generation. Bidhan said first generation immigrants, but I wanted to like clarify, say we're all Nepalese as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Kishore. We know that you're proud of your Nepalese heritage, so thank you for.
It's in my surname, bro. What you say?
Surname.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then also I was just gonna mention as well, like before, like I must have forgotten to, like, we're gonna also have different hosts for like each episode. So like say today I'm hosting it, and then like say like when Bishop wants to talk about like the COVID and like the situation in India and Nepal, like he's gonna be hosting it. Maybe when we talk about like cryptocurrency, like either me or Kishore could host it, and then like so it's just gonna be different hosts each time. So you guys have like a different like viewpoint from like how we host as well. So it'll be quite like interesting to like to see how you guys host as well in the future, guys. So yeah, so
yeah, keeps us in our toes as well, doesn't it?
If you're not gonna be hosting well, we're gonna be like, nah, you're a bad host. We're gonna give it to someone else, But yeah, so that's like the past, and maybe like looking into the future for like the podcast. I was also gonna like basically just ask like one like small question for this one as well, just so like the viewers can get like a little indication of like what we think and how what they can expect from us in the future. So I was gonna say, guys, like, is it okay for men to cry in public, and what's our opinions on the stigma I can't even say that word, oh my god, stigmatization of men crying in general, like not just in public, like just men crying in general. So if you guys like just give me like a little your own perspective into that question as well, it would be great.
Yeah, so I think like in an ideal world, it would be like very well, like everyone should like be like in touch with their emotions. Everyone should be free to like express their emotions however they wish. Like that's like an ideal world. Like obviously we're like going more and more like more and more modernized into that, and like everyone's just like what was it, sorry, everyone's being more accustomed to like speaking to their emotions and stuff. And then I think now more and more men are comfortable like sharing their opinions. You see more and more male celebrities like endorsing mental health and being like it's okay for men to cry and stuff. So I think in that sense it has gone improved, but I don't know, like I'd still feel very like weird and uncomfortable and not free for myself. That's just myself personally, to like cry in public like that. I'd rather like just like I still feel like it would be, I feel like maybe like sort of weak if I were to like just cry in front of everyone and then for everyone to just see my emotions so raw. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you as well, like in a sense where it's like, I think it is okay for men to cry, and then like men to cry in public. Like, if you're going through something, I just think like if you have to cry there and then, I feel like you should just go, like you just go for it and then like just cry. That's what
Yeah.
I personally believe in. I don't think I have cried in public like myself, but then like I wouldn't like look down on someone, or I wouldn't stigmatize men or like just people in general crying in public, because I just feel like you should be able to like express your emotions without anyone judging you anyway. And I just feel like also like with men crying, it's just like being like from like a like as in it's just like in like it's a very like toxic culture of like how men are like seen as like people that like are strong, and like I just feel like men that do cry, I think showing your emotion is like a strength in itself as well. So like although people say, oh, like when you cry, oh, you're being weak and like showing your weakness and being vulnerable, I think on the contrary it shows that you're like quite like you're able to like also express your emotion. I think that shows like strength in itself as well. That's what I believe personally. And then yeah, I do think like there's a lot of like stigmatization of men crying in public or in general, but I just feel like it shouldn't be the case, and like people should like support everyone in general. Yeah.
Yes, like, do you think like we do it to ourselves as well as men's because obviously I think we put the stigma onto ourselves, and we put the pressure onto ourselves that if we were to have a spill of our emotions in front of people, and if you were to cry in front of like especially in front of like girls or women and stuff, that we kind of lower our standards or something like that, or lower our like self-confidence or like our masculinity and things. Like I think we put a pressure on ourselves to like almost as if act like we're different in front of women, or act different in front of like act different in front of girls and stuff like that. And the fact that we do that adds to the pressure and affects our mental health as well, I think, because it's such a deep issue. Because if we keep on doing this again and again and again, because we also suffer the same. I won't say the same, but we also suffer, like negative comments from other people. We also suffer like hardships and stuff like that. And we also then at the same time we also say to ourselves like in front of them I can't show them my emotion. In front of my sisters or my mum or whatever, I can't seem weak or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think we also put it on ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to raise was being obviously all of us being from like an Asian household and growing up in an Asian community, it is seen as because of the obviously the natural male dominance we have in the Asian world, which is not right. Don't get me wrong, it is not right. But because of the natural male dominance we have, obviously the males like other like the breadwinners and stuff like that. That we're there to look after the family and create the standard and stuff like that, right? So we are like the face of the family. So because of that, if we show our weakness again, it's like to other people, it feels like the family's not well, or the family's got like a bit of a problem with them and stuff like that. So if a woman was to cry from that family, it would be like, yeah, that's normal, they're a bit weak and stuff. But if a man was to cry, we put the pressure on ourselves too, because we are the face of the family, we carry on that burden or whatever. Yeah. Because of that, we shut away from that and say like, this is part of us, but we put ourselves as to be more stronger than we actually are, and we think that crying makes us weaker when it actually doesn't. Like you said, like it's good to show our emotions and things. So I think we should definitely be encouraging our friends, our brothers, and everyone we know like to encourage like crying and stuff, because it's just part of like human being, human nature, isn't it? And like more you get bottled up inside you, it's just going to make it worse and worse until eventually it gets overwhelms you and stuff, and you obviously then your mental health comes into it and stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I think I'm rambling on a lot.
Nah, it's good. It's good.
No, I thought you made quite a good point, Sancho. But I would say that because this question is quite broad and it's specific to like should men cry in public. I don't know whether I fully agree with you guys. Like, I feel like in certain public situations, I wouldn't necessarily say anyone. It'd be kind of awkward to see anyone cry. Like, for example, if you're going for like a job interview and just burst into tears in there, yeah, like no matter whether you're a girl or a boy, like, you know, a guy or a male or a female, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's still a bit awkward in certain public situations. If the question was more like, is it alright for men to cry? I would say yes. It is alright for men to cry. Maybe with their family or someone they know, you know, with their close friends. Then I can see that. I can see myself agreeing with that. But in all public situations, it might be a bit awkward, or like other people might not be able to console you in the same way as someone close to you, or like someone who knows what's going on in your personal life. So I would say even within families or within your close friends, it's still quite stigmatized to cry for a guy. Like so when we were discussing this before, I was quite uncomfortable myself sharing the last time I cried, and I guess like firstly this comes from what we've been taught in terms of like the social, like the nurture aspect. So we've been taught that, you know, men shouldn't cry and like men should be strong. So I guess like us putting this burden of not being able to cry comes from that as well. And as you mentioned, in the Nepalese family, the Nepalese male is meant to be like the face of the family, is meant to lead the family. Would you say that this narrative should be changing, especially in our generation? You know, being first, growing up in the UK, where it's more promoted that, you know, that like both male and female play like an equal part in the marriage. Should this narrative be changing, and men shouldn't really have that leadership, not like a leadership, but like just being the more dominant figure of the family? Will this make it less stigmatizing for men to cry in the future? What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think going forward, I feel like in general, like not just in like in Nepalese culture, I think just in general, like crying as a male, and then like even the society in the UK is male dominated as well. Like there's a lot of like gender pay gap between like males and females. The society in general is like kind of like male orientated anyway. But I mean, it is changing. I think just with like more awareness and like I think it is changing it, and then eventually it will change. But going back to the question about if like in the Nepalese family, like, oh, because the male is like the figurehead, or like the one that is meant to be seen as strong, like it's like normally it would be the primary breadwinner and stuff. So like those guys should be strong, and then like maybe crying shows like a vulnerable side. I was saying before, like I feel like crying like shows you're stronger, even stronger than like say not crying in general, because like it shows that you're able to like what's it called, you're able to like show your emotions, and then like just you're not like
Be in touch with them.
Yeah, in touch with them. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it shows even more strength in general anyway. So even like the whole aspect of like, oh, how men are meant to be strong and they shouldn't cry. I think the narrative should change into like, oh, if you cry, you're even stronger, rather than like the other way around. But I do obviously agree, like society is male dominated, and then like it should like change, and then maybe that way maybe men can like feel comfortable like getting in touch with their emotions.
And what I just wanted to say what Bishop said about like the public place. So obviously in like interviews, and like if you're going into the interview, you don't want to seem unprofessional, and you don't want to seem like you need to like have like a professional side and like a personal side. But I think if it's just like, oh, like you hear something like, so say for example you're in the park or you're in the cinema or something, and then you have some like distressing news, like it should be okay for you to like express your emotions that way. You should be like, or if you're just feeling really like really depressed, or you're feeling really like down, you should be okay, like males especially, to be showing their emotions. And I think like in like the Western media and stuff, a lot of actors are saying it's okay, but like obviously ourselves and like our community and stuff, there's still this like stigma of like not being in touch. And I think the more and more like we put out that message that it is okay. Like we should. The more and more we put out the message that it is okay to cry, it is okay to be in touch with your emotions, like, and even in like the traditional like a family, the male does not have to be like a breadwinner. Like a female could be the breadwinner, and the male could just be like male could still be like they both could still be the breadwinner. You know, it doesn't have to be like one person like leading it. And I think the more and more we try to accept that like fact that males, they don't have to be the dominant like gender anymore. There is no dominant gender. Like the more and more we start to accept that, I think the more and more we are like we go into that position. We progress into that fact where males can be more in touch with their emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the things that that Bishop raised was about like I think like you said something about should it change in the future then, how the males are seen as the face of the family, and I think everything does come down to like a personal level, because we can obviously talk about how things should be and how things should move forward and stuff like that, and it's very easy to say these things, but the real question and the real like the hard part about doing it is like, for example, in your own family, you see how your family runs, you see how your community runs, and you're used to how that runs, because everyone's very comfortable in their own environment, right? So if in your own environment, in your own home, you see your dad as like the leader of the family, you see your mum as like the one step below, whatever, and even in a community, you see like the leaders in the community as like the lead as like mostly all men and stuff like that. If you see that, like even just subconsciously, you are always going to think that the male are like the leaders and the women are like the like the followers, whatever. I don't want to say followers, but like not as big of a leader as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So like it's very important to understand, like we have to know these things have to change for us to subconsciously also think that men are not always like the most powerful ones, or men are not the only masculine ones, or men are so men are not the only ones that can't show feelings and stuff. Because obviously like, and even like saying like you're leading someone or something, or you're leading like a society, leading a community, or you're even leading a family, like women can do that too. Stuff like that. So if they come, like obviously if more and more women change the dynamics of like who's at the best positions or who at the lead of the family and stuff, I think we then we'll see like we're not the actual most powerful ones, or we're not like different to them and stuff like that, so we can cry as well like they do, stuff like that. So I think fundamentally it does have to change from how it is in our family, how it is in our community, and rather than just be like women can accept men can cry as well and stuff like that. And another thing I wanted to mention was like even like just social media like kind of fuels the thing that men can't cry kind of thing, because obviously there's a lot of things saying like you can cry, but if you're going to see memes and things, and if you see loads of quotes and things that say like like for example, like this is such a small thing, even though we just talked about this here, like would you be the little spoon or this big spoon or whatever, like if a man was to be the little spoon, it's seen as like a something different, you know what I mean? It's seen something different, and I'm not saying like that should define like that you shouldn't cry or something like that, but it's commonly seen that men are like the more dominant, broad, like the more masculine and stuff, and so that's what dominant, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, even those little things, like subconsciously gets to our head and think like, so if I'm the big spoon, obviously I can't cry. Obviously I have to protect her. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So I don't know. It's a lot deeper than us just saying, we should be allowed to cry. Yeah, that's what my point is.
I was also gonna say, when I said a little spoon, a big spoon earlier, I wasn't trying to like put anyone down by this. I was just trying to make sure everyone knows. No. I know. But I was just explaining it. But also, I think I was thinking about what someone was saying earlier, and how like even how Sandra was saying how like there should be more like female leaders, and like maybe like it is changing now, because like you see like Germany, like the leader of the country is a female. Like in the UK we had like a female prime minister before. Like there's a female vice president in the US. Like so maybe like eventually it will like change, and like maybe it will like become more like normalized for men to cry, and then like just like how like females are like becoming like leaders as well. And I just wanted to say how like it does play a part, how Sandra was saying, like just seeing like all these like males in like leadership positions, and like being like all like when you think about like a general, like just think like some like old like I mean, because of the movies anyway, I just think of someone like some old white man like giving orders and stuff, do you know what I mean? So like when these like things change slowly, maybe like that's when like the whole like male dominating society, and like males having to like be like like the pillar of strength, like like changing. Do you know what I mean? And I think it is changing. So yeah, it is like a good thing, and like maybe we're like a generation too early. So if we're like born like a couple of generations later, that'll be easy. Like I'll be like weeping right now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Weep, bro. It's calm. Like no judgment here, man.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to say, like even like if you think about like movies and stuff, right? It's you always see like the male one being like the most strong one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know like the Captain Marvel came out or Wonder Woman came out and stuff. Like but there's like the only two like superhero movies that comes out like that's showing like powerful women and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that and so naturally you just think like male can't cry, male can't be that. Yeah, it's a bit mad. It's so deep than we actually like saying is.
Yeah. So summarizing you guys' points, I really agree with that point as well. Where I feel like we're at a point in society where we all know what the right thing is. Like we all know that men should be able to cry. We all know that female leaders, there should be more female representatives in the leadership positions. But it takes a long time for our subconscious to change. As Sanjay mentioned before, if we're seeing that, we're accustomed to that from childhood, we're gonna have that ingrained into our subconscious. And it's good that we know of our biases and that can help us change. But it's like it's harder than we expect. Like it's harder to change your subconscious than knowing what's right and what's wrong. Yes, it's easy to say that men should be able to cry. It's easy to say that women should be more in leadership positions. But to see that change in society, our subconscious needs to like kind of change as well.
I would just like to say it was like all great points, guys. Thank you so much. But I just wanted to ask as well, like if anyone here is comfortable sharing the last time they cried as well. I mean, it's like
Yo, that's deep.
Oof,
does anybody want to share? Or?
I guess I'll share. I'll share.
Sure. If you say it, I'll say it.
I'll go
All right. So this wasn't I don't know if it was the last time I cried, but it was like I had to like rack my brain up to like because obviously I'll admit I don't really like cry that much like and I do cry. The only times I cry would be in like movies and stuff, and I've been doing that a lot more recently. Just been like being more emotional in like whenever I watch like an emotional movie. But the last time I really actually cried was like I had like an argument with my parents, right? And this was the time when I failed my first year exams. So obviously I was in a bad state. My parents were pissed off at me, and like it was just not a good space. And then like constantly my mum and my dad would just be like so pissed off at me like every day, just telling me to like whenever I was like when I was taking a break from like revising for like my reset exams or stuff like that, like during the summer, like when I would just like there would be like times where obviously I'm not doing work, I need a little bit of break in it. So in any of those times, my parents would like they would just come in my room, make sure I'm like doing work, make sure I'm like doing this, because obviously they want the best for me. Like I'm not gonna blame them for like doing that. They wanted the best for me, and they wanted me to like pass like continue uni in it. But I was just getting so pissed off at that. And then one time I just snapped. I just felt like I was like suffocated basically, because like every little thing I do, like it just felt like it wasn't enough for my parents. And so I just snapped, and then I just like started shouting at them, and then like just crying, because like I really felt suffocated, because like I had the pressure for myself that like what if I wasn't gonna pass my exams? What if I wasn't like gonna do well? And then B, like my parents are like doing this, like they've like sacrificed so much to like for me to be in that position where I need to like fix up and like do well for myself. So yeah, and then I just snapped and I just started crying in front of my parents. That was my time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, man.
Though,
it was
like you had to let it out.
It was just. Huh?
Like we were saying earlier, how like obviously if you like let the pressure build up like over a period of time, you eventually snap, and then like it's just like prime example like. But
yeah, it was.
I
hope
you're okay though, Kishore. I mean, it's like so long ago.
Nah, I'm alright now.
It was so long ago anyway. Like, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Man's smashing you now.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you guys is closer, like you and your family together as well. Like obviously.
No, it did. Like, I don't hold anything against my parents. I love my parents, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
like, but it was just one of them times. Obviously, my parents are like really strict on me. They want the best for me, and then that was the only way that they could. I wouldn't blame them for doing that, but that was they've done well because of their parents doing that to them. So
Yeah.
I understand it, but yeah.
Seems like it was quite a
Yeah,
low
it
time
was
or-
very low time in
or-
my life.
And would you like to share with us like how you cope through that, or like any coping techniques for people that might be
It
going through the same
wasn't.
thing?
It wasn't really like coping. It was just like I wasn't really talking to anyone like back then. Like I wasn't like sharing my emotions. I think I just dealt with it and like tried to like salvage the most of it I can with it. It wasn't. I didn't really. Nah, I don't know. There wasn't that many coping exercises or methods. I think I just dealt with it, and I probably should have just talked to like my friends and stuff. But I just felt like, oh, what's the point? Like it just felt like, oh, oh, it should be on me to like fix myself up and not seek help.
Yeah.
Like maybe I should have, yeah.
You see that comes down to like what we were saying before, isn't it? Because we can easily just say like it's good for us to be open and like cry and stuff like that and like be in touch with our emotions and things.
Yeah.
But we also like, because of how we look at ourselves, like obviously men, like how we look at ourselves, we think we can't see that side, or we can't let other people see that
Yeah.
side, and then it just builds up. Yeah. See, mine's pretty similar as well, and it's weird because obviously like the stuff that makes you cry is something that's close to your
Yeah.
heart, right? And if something that doesn't affect your heart, like it doesn't affect you, you're not gonna cry, obviously. So obviously, like as everyone can relate, like your parents are really close to you
Yeah.
as well. So mine was I don't know, like it's getting too long, 40 minutes over, so I'm gonna cut it down a bit. But so basically, because obviously all of us are immigrants and stuff, innit? And like and one night, like we were just talking, just a family and stuff, and like my dad was just I don't know, like I think it was also like because obviously we're in uni and like we don't get as much time to spend with each other and stuff, and they think like obviously we have less time together and like we're gonna grow up faster and stuff. So like nowadays we just have like deeper conversations and stuff. It's not just like just father and son conversation. It's like something much deeper, and like he will say a lot about his past and stuff like that. So like so he was talking like one night we were just talking, and like he was just talking about how like he came to the UK and stuff like that, and obviously like it's completely different to Nepal and stuff, and like and in here you obviously have to work a lot harder, you know what I mean? Like it's a different lifestyle and stuff like that. And then he got like, he was obviously just saying everything like that, and he basically was like saying how like he's just like really proud of us and stuff like that. So like that was like just like made me think like what he went through. Like obviously I want to spare the detail. I don't want to say every little shit because like there's no point. But because everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
But he was just basically saying how like obviously the hours that they put in, both my parents even, and like but he was just saying like both hours they put in, the amount of work that they did, like not just one work, two work, 2 jobs, whatever they had to like just to provide for us, give us like better life and stuff like that, innit? So like now it's all calm, but like before they had it rough and stuff, and like you don't really see that when you're a kid as well, and you just think like, oh, why my parents like at work all the time and stuff like that, just like, you know what I mean, like you don't appreciate it, and then but when you grow older you just start thinking like all of this was for this, all of this was to like get us better education and stuff like that. And then so that night, like obviously I didn't cry like in front of him, but like he told me all of this stuff, and I was just like shit, like literally, to be frank, like he didn't obviously know English as much as like I do now and stuff like that, and like just coming to a new country, new language, like not even like a good job, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously now it's better, but like before like it was shit. And just like I just deep tip bears and saying like I'm in such like a privileged position now, and like I can literally like I'm just kind of like taking everything for granted, not everything for granted, but like I'm not seeing the how easier it is for me than it is for them and stuff like that. So I for that night when I went to bed, I was just deep in it bears, and I obviously like teared up and stuff. So I don't know, it just made me appreciate them a lot more than I did before. Obviously you grow older, you do that anyway, but yeah, that kind of thing, man. So that was the last time I cried. So like,
No, that was
well,
it is sort of similar, but I think your one's more of a positive experience, but then my one's a bit of a negative one still. No, but it was,
but it just,
I think like you don't really realize what your parents have gone through like until they tell you, like they try to like hide that from like I know my parents did, especially they tried to like hide like the bad parts of what they had to go through, so like I didn't have to go through that. And I think just you go throughout your whole life thinking like you don't even know what I still like not clearly, but I know like certain bits, but like I don't really clearly know like my dad or my mom that well. Like you don't really know them, your parents, what they were like before like you came into their lives. So I think just to have a little glimpse of that is a bit mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, as in they literally had like a life that we like say like so my family. I think my mom had me when I was like 20, when she was 22 or something. Like she had like a whole life like that I have lived so far. Like before I even came into their lives, innit? So they were their own people before, and then like now like we're kind of like the center of like their attention. Like we're the center of their world, innit? So yeah, no, thank you guys for sharing as well. By the way, like. It was like two great stories. Like I was like tearing up listening to it, you know. yeah. But
was that the last time you cried then, innit?
yeah. I mean, I was tearing up, but no, but it's like relatable as well. Like I think everyone like kind of listening maybe can relate. It's like if they're from like a similar background as well, and in general, like just like making your family like or making your parents proud is something that you like aspire to. Anyway, so like just like listening to them like. Say like good things about you and just say like they're proud of you, like it does like hit the spot. Do you know what I mean?
It hits the spot.
Yeah, but I mean, does anyone else want to add anything to it as well? Like Bishop, have you got anything to add to it?
Yeah, thank you guys for sharing that as well. I mean, it must have taken quite a lot of courage because myself, I don't know if I would be comfortable.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's alright. You don't have to.
That's fine. Like
Are you just,
I mean, no, we're already like 46 minutes.
Yeah, we're already out of time.
I mean,
maybe we'll put it in the jar.
Yeah,
I'll put it in a jar. Yeah.
Whoa,
Tell them about that.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
So
first, let's
talking
let Sanjog.
talking about the jar. Let
Yeah,
me
talking
let
about the
Sanjog.
jar.
Let me let Sanjog like come into here now. Like, go on, Sanjog.
So this part of the section of the podcast, we're gonna have this every week. So it's basically, as you can see, we've got like a square jar.
Yeah. So if you
Wink, wink.
if you guys are watching it on YouTube, so, I mean, if you guys are watching the podcast on YouTube, like you'll be able to see the square jar. For the ones that are listening on Spotify, maybe you won't be able to, but just like trust us. Just trust us. There's a square jar basically.
Just imagine,
Square
innit?
jar. Yeah.
Bro, the square jar looks very round. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a square jar with round edges, bro. It's so weird. Anyway, all right. So let me just explain the section. So we got like a question each. So eventually all of us gonna have a square jar each, and we're gonna write a question. And I've got some questions in here. So we're gonna do one question per episode because it would just be too long if we just did everyone. So the one person in that week picks out basically I'm gonna do it now. So let me mix it in. So we pick it out. We pick out the question, and then the person who picks it out chooses who's going to answer this. So I'm before I even look at it, I'm just going to choose a random person. Bishop, you haven't said much. So it's coming up.
Okay, go on.
Please let me
so
when did Bishop cry last or something?
Nah, this is actually quite a different one. It's just a general question, actually. It's not that
Show it
deep.
to them.
We've had too much.
Show it.
So this is just like a what type of person are you? So you can't really read it, but basically, are you more like a nature person or like a city person, or like person that basically that like let's say if you want to go on a holiday, would you go to like the hills, the valleys, or would you go to the London or
Tokyo.
like the main center like New York, Tokyo? Yeah. What type of person are you?
I've actually spoken to someone about this. And I was saying that I would much prefer like naturey ones where maybe I would go Everest base camp or go see those colourful hills in Peru.
Oh
I don't know
yeah, I've
what
seen that.
what it is, but like that, or go to the Alps and go skiing. Maybe that sort of holiday I think I'd enjoy a lot more than like city holidays. But like I wouldn't. If I do go to a city holiday, that I would just want to like maybe like party more like a. Party scene, because I'm not a big fan of like museums or like sightseeing and all that. I'm not really a big fan of that sort of vibes. And the city holidays I go to, what I notice is like all I do is like go to this like tall structure and look at the city from like a tall place, and that seems to be like what I kind of end up doing. But then again, one city that I really enjoyed is Kyoto, because it didn't have those big high-rise buildings and all that. It had like this unique sort of personality as a city, where it was kind of like all small 2-3 story buildings, and it was all like temples. Reminded me a lot of like Kathmandu with like narrow alleyway, narrow roads. So I did enjoy that's one city I really enjoyed. But other than that, I think I'm more.
To those who don't know where
nature
Kyoto is,
sort
could
of
you
person.
explain where it is, Bishop?
So Kyoto is in Japan.
It's a city in
Yeah.
Japan, basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
me-
To say that.
Yeah, city in Japan.
Alright,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
good, man.
sick,
That was
sick.
good. So yeah, so basically, this part of the podcast, we just want to know much more about ourselves, basically. So like the viewers, the listeners, they get to know the different side of us and stuff. So each week there'll be a different question. And even also like you guys can obviously, if this gets bigger and bigger, more people can also send us questions in the YouTube, or like you can comment on the video, or
Yeah,
whatever.
just DM us on
So you
Instagram.
can put
as
your
well,
questions
ask,
in as
like,
well.
Send questions that we can like ask each other, and like if you like say DM like personal accounts as well, and just say like you DM me or DM Kishore and be like, oh, ask this to ask this to Sanjo or ask this to Bishop. You can even like do that if you want. Like we'll rig it for you if you want. But I was gonna say as well, Bishop. You know like how you were saying.
Nah, no rigging, fam. No rigging. No
Okay,
rigging.
okay, no rigging. But I was just saying like, you know how Bishop was saying how he loves like a nature holiday, yeah. Do you think it's because like my guy grew up in a gown like till the age of 7 or 8, innit? So it's like it makes him.
What's the gown? What's the gown,
So,
fam?
sorry, my guy grew up
Village,
in a
man.
village like when he was younger. So like maybe that's why like it like brings out the villager in him. So maybe that's why like he loves like a nature holiday. But I'm not gonna lie, this guy was definitely enjoying himself in
Yeah,
Tokyo
man.
as well. So I don't know why he's saying, oh, I'm more of a flipping like a nature
Wait.
person.
Yeah, but I would prefer like more nature, innit? Like imagine even for example, even when we went like Kyoto, do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
we went up to this mountain, then like we hiked down, and I really enjoyed like that
Yeah, I
as
mean,
well.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it's
quite
true, it's
impromptu
true.
as well.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. We're coming towards the end of the episode now. Like, just to summarize everything today, we've spoken about how, yes, it is okay for men to cry. I think everyone here agrees that it is okay for men to like show emotions. I know Bishop said maybe not in public, and I think me personally as well, like, I probably wouldn't like cry in public, just because I don't want like people to like show me sympathy or people to like realize that I'm crying. But yeah, so it is okay for men to cry, and then hopefully the world is changing, and like we can get like more females in like leadership positions, and like we can like change the narrative that men have to be strong and females are like the submissive, and like the men are the dominant like dominant gender, like, and then maybe we can like get like a more like equal like footing for everyone, and like just like make sure like everyone can like express their emotions, and just I think that's what we talked about today. Also like we're giving you guys like a little brief introduction to ourselves as well. Like we have a lot to like give in the future. Make sure you guys just like keep on listening. Like we'll be able to like get to know us more, get to know about our background more. I just get to like see our viewpoint, and maybe also like we'll have some juicier questions into the jar. So like you can even find out like our dirty little secrets. Maybe eventually.
if you're willing to share, Bidhan.
I mean, not me, but yeah. So we're gonna. So maybe like we can not like when I say dirty little secrets, like it's just like secrets like maybe like it's so personal to you, like, and like you haven't shared anywhere, and then, like you're willing to share coming into the podcast. Yeah. So make sure that this is our like first ever podcast. So please be kind. Obviously we're willing to like listen to any feedback that you guys will be providing, like just constructive criticism, and like just like criticism in general. Just like let us know how you find the podcast. Like obviously you can view the podcast on like Spotify or on YouTube. We are called Into the Square, so if you just type in Into the Square and into these platforms, you'll be able to. And
then we'll be making an Instagram as well.
Yeah, so if you guys
follow us on Instagram
Insta as well, like our Into the Square like Instagram as well, and just like give us like a little feedback, just message us your questions, like just tell us how like you found it, and also maybe give us like topics you would like to see us like discuss in the future as well. So yeah, so thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you.
I've been Bidhan. Like, if you guys want to just say like wrap, just say bye.
I've been Kishore. I've been Kishore.
I've been Sanjo.
Yeah.
I've been Bishop. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you
Make
guys.
sure you guys
Thank
like,
you.
comment, share, and subscribe as well. Just have to put it out there.